Hi, how are you? If you're new, welcome to my channel. If you're not new, welcome back. Thank you so much for returning. So if you don't know, my name is Diamond. I'm a sophomore in college. I go to Towson University. As you can see, or if you don't know, a lot of us are finishing off the semester and I think we're all ready for it to be over. But as the semester ends, I think it's always good to, just plan and try to work towards the next semester. So today in this video, we're going to be going over tips and tricks on how to achieve a 4.0 in college so y'all can get ready with me, get ready for next semester. Without further ado, let's just get right into the video. And if I'm looking down, it's because I have my notebook. I wrote all of my points down here just so I can stay organized and keep this video flowing. Number one tip or piece of advice would be to stay organized. This is a very crucial tip because you can easily see things start to go left with your grades if you are not staying organized. The first point that I want to make about this is to try to keep all of your subjects in different notebooks or binders. Categorize your classes into whatever works for you. I usually just categorize my classes into my major classes I can fit in this notebook, and then my minor classes I can fit in this different notebook. I usually get these big 5-star college ruled notebooks because they tend to have a lot of different sections. But this is important because if you categorize your classes into different folders or sections, whatever works for you, it's harder to misplace or lose any important information or assignments that you may need. And also, get a planner, something that is aesthetically pleasing to your eye, something that you like to look at. I like cute planners because it makes me want to look at the planner and open it and actually write in it and actually check what I have written down in there because it's so cute. Get a calendar. A lot of planners do have calendars already in them, but get another calendar to put on your wall so you see that too. So tip number 2 is going to be look at your syllabus. All of your syllabi, I don't even know the proper term for that. Look at each syllabus for each class that you have. Keep track of them. I like to print mine out and keep them in a folder, but if you just want to keep track of them on your computer, put in a Google Doc, do something, but keep track of them. When I look through each and every syllabus that I have, I write down, this goes back to tip number 1, keeping a planner. I like to write down all of my major assignments and their due dates. That's why it's important to keep track of your syllabus and look through them, actually read them, because a lot of times teachers aren't really going to remind you as much or at all if you have an assignment coming up. Some will, it's not guaranteed. This way you're able to have that reminder so that you don't forget that a due date is coming up. And not only that, but you also have more time to work on it. Which brings me to my next point. Don't procrastinate. People tell you all the time, but it's true. This is why you hear it all the time. Do not procrastinate. You cannot procrastinate. Have good time management. Start your assignments early. This way, you're not only putting less stress on yourself to get the assignment done all at once or at the last minute, you're giving yourself time to really give good quality work. If you're stressing at the last minute to try to complete an assignment, most likely you're not going to be really worried about the quality of the assignment. You're mostly going to be worried about just getting it done. We want good quality work, but we want it on time too. And to go off of that, by getting your work done early, that means you have more time to go out and have fun. Tip number 4, go to office hours, okay? Build those relationships. My first year, I did not really go to my professor's office hours, but the start of my sophomore year, I definitely did start building those relationships with certain professors that I felt I had connected to. Building that relationship with your professors not only will give you a better chance of that professor bumping your grade up if you are borderline, because they know who you are. That will give you more of a chance that if you are borderline on your grades, they will bump you up. But not only this, if you build these connections with your professors, especially early on in your college career, you have easy letters of recommendation. Along with this point, ask questions. Do not be afraid to ask questions in your class, because if you don't know it, if you have that question, 9 times out of 10, somebody else sitting next to you or in your class has that same question. My next tip, create good study habits. Now, I will say that this is going to be different for every single person, but some of these are standard. Now, what I like to do is I try to start studying for any exams, tests, or quizzes that I have at least a week or 2 weeks prior. This gives you time to space out your study periods, especially if you have multiple exams around the same period of time. That way I'm not cramming all of my studying for all of my exams in one session. It helps if I space out my studying because it helps me retain the information a lot better and it helps me stay sane and not as stressed. I like using flashcards, especially if I'm trying to memorize information. If I really want to retain certain information, then I like to handwrite my notes. I handwrite my notes first, and then I always go back and rewrite them. That's just what works for me, and it helps me to really retain what I'm trying to learn. Some people find it better to write their notes on a laptop, and that's okay. Whatever works for you. This is just what works for me. Make a study group. You might have a question, or you might not know the answer to something, and somebody else in your study group will. Study in an environment that works for you. This is going to be different for everybody, but overall general rule here is to step out of an environment that is going to distract you, whatever that environment may be. My last tip for this point would be to study the night before and the morning of. And when you go to sleep, you're consolidating that information that you just studied, and it's more likely to stick and you'll remember it. My next point is to prioritize your education. This kind of goes with what I was saying in point 3 by getting your work done before you go out to have fun. We all want to have fun. We're in college, duh, we're not just here to work. But you have to remember, you're not paying thousands of dollars unless you're on a scholarship, but it still doesn't matter. We're not paying thousands of dollars to go party. That's not what we're in school for. We're paying thousands of dollars for these classes that we need to take so we can graduate and get our degree, right? And I know for me personally, I wouldn't want to waste my money. Do you know how much it is per class? Absolutely not. I would not waste my money that I had to pay back. If I'm gonna pay all this money, I might as well make my GPA look good while doing it too, right? This also goes back to having good time management and not procrastinating. If you get your work done early, then you have time to go out and do whatever you want to do. But if your work is not done on that Friday night that you want to go out to that party, baby, you better stay in your dorm, and nobody wants to do that. So the next point that I have, and I really like this, I like this point a lot, is to be involved on campus. Join a club, join a team, do something that you like, but be involved. And I say this because a lot of times these clubs and organizations on campus, most times they'll have a GPA requirement that you have to stay up to in order to even be eligible to continue with participation in that club or that team. And if you're in this club or team that you find really fun, this can really serve as good motivation for you to keep your grades up. Not only that, but joining these clubs and organizations can help you connect with other like-minded individuals. You can have people to study with or even mentor you. And along with that, join a club for your major. I am in psychology club. That's an easy club. It has people in your major that can literally help you. You can get advice from somebody else in the club. You can get study tips. And this can also be a great way to get references for internships, grad school jobs, etc. in the future. My next tip would be try to attend as many lectures as possible. I did not attend every single lecture. Any lectures that I did miss for whatever reason, I made that work up or I got the notes from somebody. So if you're gonna miss a lecture, make sure you have somebody connect in the class that can get you caught up on what you missed. But I say try to attend as many lectures as possible because a lot of times professors will take attendance and count that towards your grade. If you miss half of the lectures or all of the lectures, that's at least half a letter grade down without even grading any of your other assignments, your tests, your homework, without any of that. Professors will post their slides online, but will also go over certain details in class that they don't include on their PowerPoints. And you would not know that unless you go to class. Next point, start the semester off strong. If you really go hard in the beginning of the semester, you'll have a little bit of cushion room between the middle and the end of the semester just in case things are starting to go left. My next point I think is very important. Pick good professors. I understand not everyone has the options of picking their professors. And I understand that classes get filled up very quickly and the professor that you wanted is now not available. But if possible, go on Rate My Professor and look at their rating. Not all reviews on Rate My Professor are accurate, but if every single review of the teacher is just awful, they're probably true. If I have the option, I don't pick a professor that has a rating of 3.5 or below. Most of my professors have been wonderful. Because you can be the smartest person in the world, but if your professor is trash, there's going to be some reason that you don't get the grade that you want. My next tip is to sit in the front of the class. And this one's pretty self-explanatory, but if you're sitting in the very front of the class, it's very hard for you to not pay attention when the teacher is literally staring you right in your face. I mean, unless you're just really bold, and some people are, but I'm not that person. If I'm sitting in the front, I'm not about to be on my phone when the teacher's like right here looking at me. Like, that's just awkward to me. Next tip, take advantage of extra credit opportunities. Now, a lot of the things I'm saying sound like, okay, duh, like that's common sense. Why wouldn't I take advantage of extra credit opportunities? No, because I have heard so many people say, nah, I'm not gonna do that extra credit. I don't need it. I already have an A. Look, my A can easily turn into a B if this one assignment doesn't go the way I want. Just use the extra credit to your advantage. Like, it's extra credit. Why wouldn't you take advantage of it? The next point that I have, I think this is one of the most important points. Engage in self-care. Mental health is so important. It comes first, okay? Because if you're not in the right headspace, you're not going to be motivated to do anything that you need to do. If you need to take that day for yourself and just have a self-care day, do what you want, something that's going to make you feel good, de-stressed, then do that. Come back the next day recharged, fully focused, ready to go. Next point that I have will be try to eat healthy. I say try to eat healthy because we all know that if college campuses do not have the best food choices, it really all consists of french fries and chicken tenders. And exercise. Go to the gym, boost your endorphins, and get your mindset right for your work. My next point I think is very important, and that's to be self-motivated. Hold yourself accountable. No one's going to make you get up and go to class. I understand that when you're first starting off in your academic career, you're forced to take these general classes that have nothing to do with your major. I get it, right? And it can be very hard to hold yourself accountable when you don't even care about the classes you're taking, right? But you have to understand that, no, I'm not saying that GPA and grades are what's going to make you successful in the future. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying that you should be overly obsessed with your grades. What I am saying is grades and GPA can matter to some extent. Let's use two people for an example. They're neck and neck. Person A has a slightly higher GPA than person B. So if everything else is neck and neck between these people, the deciding factor most likely will be that this person has a higher GPA, and most likely, now this is not guaranteed, but most likely this person is going to get the position over this person. What I'm saying is you don't want your GPA to be the thing that is holding you back. It's one less thing that you have to worry about. It's one more thing that you have under your belt that you can say, hey, this is what else I have to offer. And with that, that is the end of all of my tips and tricks on how to accomplish or achieve getting straight A in college. These tips can apply to high school as well, but I'm in college. That's what the video is on. These are just things that I have done that were successful for me. They can also be successful for you, but I hope that the tips that I gave you were helpful. And thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below also. If you're in college, comment where you go to school. Make sure you stay tuned for my next video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.